Hi, everybody. Welcome to the World Series of Board Gaming's Designer Series. My name is Chris George. Unfortunately, I'm not joined by my co host, Brian Muller, today, or as we like to refer to ourselves, Ark and Nova. It's not even a. It's not even a clever one. It's just the name of the game of the designer who we're having on the show today. We have acclaimed designer Mathias Wigge on with us today, and we are going to talk about his design process, how Ark Nova came to be, and stick around until the end because if you're interested, well, you can have a chance to win yourself a copy of Ark Nova. That's right, with all of our designer series, we're giving away a copy of the game. So stay tuned to find out more about that. But without further ado, let's get into the interview because it's a fun one. And that way you can listen to someone much more intelligent than me speak about board games. And so now we are joined by Ark Nova designer Mathias Wigge. Thank you so much for joining us on the show, Mathias. How are you doing this evening?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thanks, Chris, for having me. And good evening, everybody.
Good evening. Yeah, because you're in Germany. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. It's 10 p.m. here right now, but yeah, it's my natural working time, I guess.
Are you more of a night
Yeah,
owl?
I
I feel
am.
like I am too. And I love you're in your office, correct?
Yeah, it's my basement actually, but yeah, it's my office also. So I'm quite a lot here. So yeah.
I have to say I love your setup. I love the pinball in the background. I love all the games on the shelves, organized so beautifully. Your shelves are so pristine, everything at the right level. It just it looks fantastic.
Yeah, actually sometimes when they get new games, I have to reorder them. It's pretty stupid sometimes, but yeah. So it's great. It has a course right now, so it looks good.
For sure. I just went through a reorganization of my shelves myself. I turned a little closet into an office, so I'm just really excited when I see other people's setups. But what I would love to do to kind of start out this interview is to talk maybe a little bit about your design process and more your design journey. How did you start getting into board games? How did you start getting into board game design? When was it something that you decided, you know what? I'm gonna design one of the biggest hits out there.
Yeah, that's how it started. No, um, yeah, where can I start? So it was a nice journey, or it is actually still, and
Hmm.
I came to board gaming when I was a child actually. So I
Cool.
played with my mother a lot of games, and I always liked gaming. And yeah, I switched from board gaming to video games to tabletop games when I was like 14, 15, so this years. Then I found my love in Magic the Gathering,
Oh,
playing when
cool.
I went to yeah, what did I say, high school. Yeah, so it's university in Germany. So
Mm.
at this time I yeah, discovered the love for tournament Magic, and quite that a lot during my university years. And yeah, right after that, when the time gets short, when I started working, and the time was not so yeah, overflowing, I I discovered Agricola actually, from Uwe
Cool.
Rosenberg, and yeah, that brought me back to board gaming, I guess, because yeah, I really enjoyed it with my friends. We played it a lot, and from then I started to yeah invest more time in board gamings, and over the years the interest grew, and yeah, at some point I was in a mood and said, so I play so many games, so many Euro games,
Yeah.
actually, which is my favorite kind of games. And yeah, I thought, well, I just try and create my own thing, or just do it in night sessions, and Yeah, I took a small book and noted some ideas, and at some point I said, "So this idea is cool. I think it's worth more investigating more time in it." And then yeah, I just started doing it, and yeah, so it took
And
some
that
time.
that was
Yeah,
what became Ark Nova.
yeah, yeah.
How long ago would you say you had that first idea?
From what we have 2023, so it
Hmm.
was 6 years ago. Should be like 6 years ago. Yeah.
Cool.
At first, there was no intention to create a game and make it public. Yeah, it was just for me and just to try and see if I can do something creative. And when I got to a point where I thought, okay, this works somehow, it works, and then I showed it to other people, and after I think 1.5 years or so, I thought, okay, now now I invested so much time and love and effort that it's time, so that I knew, okay, I had to make it public at some way,
Hmm.
and so I started to find a publisher for it, and yeah,
Cool.
so
And what was that process like? You have this thing that you feel is good. You've been getting some good feedback on. How did you go about tracking down publishers? Did you go to Essen, um, or what was that process like?
yeah, so there are not so many Eurogame publishers out there for heavy games, and I
Hmm.
consider Ark Nova a heavy game, a heavy complex Eurogame, and so it actually was a little bit more complex when I went to the publisher. So we streamlined it already, yeah, a little at least, and so it was a little more complex when I searched the publisher, and so then I just thought, well, what can you do? Yeah, you look on the web pages, and then you contact I actually went to the telephone to the cell phone and called Feuerland and said, so I have a game. What would I have to do if I have a cool game and want to show it to you? So that was my first call there, because Feuerland was my wished address, so my
Right.
favorite my
Yeah.
favorite address for the game actually, and so I gave them a call, and I talked to them, and they said, oh yeah, if you have send us the rules, so and we give it a look. So I thought, okay, that's the way, but I won't do that. So because okay, there might, I don't know how many people call there, and I
Yeah.
think yeah, I wouldn't wonder if it's like 400 a year or so ideas and rules that got sent to the publishers. So I did not do that because I did not want to land on a pile of 400 games and then wait for, I don't know.
Right.
So
Potentially years, right? If they've got to get through that backlog.
yeah, if yeah, so I did not want to do that because there was a chance at a local game store to show the game there. They had organized an prototype evening with another publisher
Cool.
who wanted to show some of their prototypes, and I think want to test them. But the game shop owner, yeah, talked to them and made it possible that people can show their prototypes to the company also. And
Amazing.
that was so popular that we never played a prototype from the company. So there were like five or six people with their prototypes, and one of them was me. And so I had a chance to present my game directly to yeah, I don't know, lector. What would you say in English? It's the editor.
Yeah, the
It's
editor.
it's yeah, it's lector in it. I wanted yeah, I think that's editor maybe.
Yeah.
And so I had the first step much easier with this opportunity, to show it there. And she actually, it was she liked it when I showed it there, and then I had the opportunity for another appointment to present it in full length, because obviously we couldn't play it in full length at this event, but it was interesting enough to get another appointment, and then I could show it there, and gave them my prototype. They played it internally, and then they came back to me and said, okay, it's cool, we are thinking about it, and then they turned it down, actually, because it was too complex for their lineup. It wasn't. It was too complex for them, and they wasn't sure about the
It's
scene.
just a little complex. There's a few moving parts to it, right? Just a couple here and there.
And remember, there were a little bit more when
right
at that time, a little bit, not much, but a little bit. So they turned it down, and then I said, "Oh, no problem. What would you think would be a good address? To go with the game. So which publisher would fit for this game?" And we pretty much and soon agreed that Feuerland would be a nice address, and it could fit there. And so I said, you know each other. I'm pretty sure that the business is small, and if you really think this could work, then why not gave them a call and make me put us together.
So create that connection.
Right. So create a connection, and she did. And then it was Feuerland who called me and said, "Oh, we heard you have a game that could be interesting for us." And then I sent them my rule book, and
right.
From then so that was the starting point.
Because then they're asking for it, then they're going to read it, and then it's going to the top of the queue. Cool. I love that. I love that. Even just making those connections with a publisher who may be a little bit smaller, who may not be a right fit for, because publishers do have these sort of brands, right, that they know is in their wheelhouse, especially even for development. What were the sorts of things that you cut out or from in the development process? Because you said it was a little bit more complex. Were there are there any things that you're hoping to potentially add to an expansion down the line? I feel like that happens sometimes. I heard with Dominion when it first came out, he came with everything Dominion, and they're like, okay, we're going to chop it into these multiple boxes. So I didn't know if that was a potential for Ark Nova.
Yes and no. I think there are some of the things we cut off which can work as an add-on, but there have been reasons to streamline it and make it more accessible. So it's not the intention to just make it more complex and and lose half of the gamers on the way. So at that point we had, for example, a fourth card type. So there had been more action cards. So in the pile there had been the same number of action cards as there were conservation projects. The 5 action were not the same. The card draw action was upgrade action, and so you could use this upgrade action to upgrade your cards.
And switch them out. With different types. So you're building your different card, different variable powers as the game progressed.
At that time it was the case. So it was a little bit different. Balancing them out took a lot of time, actually. But it worked. But we thought it was better to streamline the thing, and to make the cards action to get cards, and to streamline the game flow. At that time we didn't have a break. So the break mechanism was added during the process and the work with Feuerland.
Cool.
So that was something which was added. So we had a more fixed game structure first, and this was added then, and it all was connected with the decision to cut out the upgrade action and to add the card draw action. So it had to work.
Cool. And so before then, would it have been, it was a set number of rounds and then you would get your income?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But now with the break, it's now more variable.
It's more dynamic. It's more dynamic. It opens up more strategic choices, and yeah.
Cool. That's really neat. And had you tried designing any board games before Ark Nova, or was this the first idea that kind of came to your head and you said this is the one, and and then just went with it?
Yeah, also so I told you I had the book. I had some ideas, but it wasn't more than ideas, like more a theme or a basic idea for what could work. But Ark Nova was the first one where I actually sat down and went ahead and thought, okay, I go. I make a prototype. I work it out. I do it and create cards. I created them on MS Word. Actually, I used Word. I created my cards in night sessions, and they already had pictures of animals at that time. It was a process not recommended, I think, for designing games because it took a lot of time. And, loved to do it, but time was not a factor at that point. It was just fun. It made fun to create those cards, and sometimes I even got inspired by the pictures of the animals to what could their ability be. Yeah, so cool. I wanted them to have something like a soul, so you can emerge, with the better immerse, with the card, with the game feeling, because that is something which is most of the time missing in Eurogames, or which I missed in many Eurogames, the disconnect between theme and gameplay. And so I tried to add something to this, so you can have a small, but you have a connection with the cards.
Right. Well, yeah, I wanted to ask you too, in terms of in Ark Nova, there are so many different cards with so many different abilities. And in a lot of games, you see sort of small tweaks on the same ability over and over. But I feel like the amount of unique abilities in Ark Nova is pretty significant. Was that theme driven first, or how did you go about deciding what types of actions you wanted these cards to play? Or did that even come from your experience with Magic and all the Magic cards being fairly unique as well, right? Was there any sort of parallel between that?
I think it definitely was inspired by experience in general in board gaming, and I personally enjoy the games where you have a variety in abilities, and of course you could design it in a way where you say, okay, all predators have this ability and all herbivores have this ability, but so actually I started and just trial and error. So I tried a lot of abilities, and some of them worked good or worked great, and then we made a little more of them, so that they are at least sometimes more than once in the game. And some didn't work so good, and then we cut them out or changed them to be more streamlined or work better, or whatever. But at first I just tried out. I thought about them, and then I did it, and then most of them stuck, and it worked.
Cool.
So, at least for me, and then
well, that's interesting too, because our last one of this series was we were interviewing Martin Wallace and talking about brass, and I asked him about the mathematics behind the decision making, and he said, no, it's kind of just like designing is just kind of like cooking. You add a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You see what works. If it doesn't work, you take some out, you add it in. Do you feel a similar way, or because it feels like you you felt it out more and used your experience more and thought about what you wanted to see versus trying to nail down like balance right away. You want to throw everything with fun abilities and see what's fun, and then go from there.
So I think the most fun abilities come from when you have the basics of the game. So the turn structure, and then you can add some weird things like what for example the sponsor magnet ability, where you just get all cards from the middle. It's
right.
A little, it's on paper it looks weird. For me, it always was, whoa, every card that can be very much. But and then you try it, and then it's cool. In regards of balancing, at some point, I started just with the feeling. So I never designed a game, but I play a lot of games very competitively, and I have somewhat of a feeling if a card looks or if it looks good or not, and so I think you can rely on your feelings a little bit, but then after you have the structures, and many things can change. If you change parts on the structure, the balance will also change, because if you have a middle row with 4 cards, the sponsor magnet is different than when you have 6 cards or 7 cards. So the chances vary pretty much if you change that number, just for an example. And then at some point I just wrote a formula for calculating the cost of the cards. So I have I can prove my feelings with it. So I wrote the formula, and then everything which went up and down. So let me put it this way. So you use the formula and then retweak the formula over and over, so it fitted. So when for example, when I had a pretty powerful ability like I think in English it's determination, what the birds, eagles have, where you get an extra turn. So when I thought this is too strong, then I upped the cost for the
increase the cost.
Just for an easy example.
That's really cool of having that baseline, right? Of knowing that here's the formula, this is how much it's got to cost and be worth this much, and then feeling based upon the abilities, and then tweaking based on that. That's very I've played a lot. I haven't played a lot of Magic, but I've played a lot of Hearthstone, and I feel you have the base stats of something, and then it's the ability that tweaks it, and then you see the stats go lower or higher. This makes me excited to play Ark Nova again, Matthias, to now try to eke out the formula and see every card and be like, okay, well, now I know this is a strong ability. I better be playing it correctly.
So the good thing with card games actually is this is actually a philosophy thing, but with card games in special. So in general, I don't think all cards have to be equally good. I mean, it's not a collectible card game, where you have to sell like rares or ultra rares or whatever you call them. But the cards, when not all cards are equally good, you give good players the opportunity to identify the better ones, and then so you have to give room to make smart plays actually. And so if you have if it doesn't matter in anyhow which card you play, it's of course in Ark Nova in special there is very much variability anyways, or the variance, and it all depends. This is what I tried to say. The power of the card depends on many factors. It's not just the pure stats of the cards. So it has something to do with at which point in the game you are, and if you can afford like 25 money in turn round is all you have, But maybe in after the fourth or fifth break, it's 25 money is not so much anymore if you played in a way that you generated a lot of income, which you probably would do in the game. Just for example, but it's also
what I wish I did
on the projects. Yeah, the projects which are out, your end game scoring cards, the number of players even also is a factor which changes the power of some cards. There are cards which are better in high player count games than in low player count games, and this is on purpose because then you can somehow, like templates, you're getting used to templates, and oh, this is a good card, this is the bad card, but this does not work in Ark Nova. At least it was the design goal, because it depends. Actually, it depends, and so it also gives room for better players to do better and not be dependent on card draw.
Yeah, and to really isolate what is going to be good at that particular moment with their sponsor abilities, with their additional cards, with the engine that they've created, right? In terms of just talking about these abilities as well, what do you prefer, the attacking options or the solo friendly variant?
So it was designed with the interactive actions, and it is the default way of playing the game, and I'm pretty glad we had to give a second option. It's from the solo game, so it was they are on the cards for the solo game, and when a lot of people did not like those abilities, and I think if you look at Board Game Geek, there have been some Umfragen. What is it in English? Question votes. Yeah, so there have been some votings, and it's almost 50-50. People play with or without them, and that's interesting. But it was designed to use them, and the funny thing is, I don't like aggressive abilities, or take that in particular, abilities in games myself. I really dislike them, because most of especially when you can choose your victim.
Right.
And this is something you cannot do in Ark Nova. You cannot choose, I target you because I don't like you.
Yeah.
obviously you wouldn't do that, but
you haven't played with my game group.
You were good. You designed the game. I take you. Or, or you won last time, or you won the other game we played tonight. So I will choose you. Whatever.
Yeah.
And this is my partner. I don't want to target you. I target you. It's better for me this evening. And then. So I don't like that. You can, I don't like that. So in Ark Nova you cannot do that, and it should function. It is one additional interactive part in the game. I don't know. I thought it was funny too. You could use your monkeys to steal a card. It's cliché, obviously. Like the pirate monkey which grabs some doubloons, whatever. But I thought it was funny, and it's not more abstract than your picks, or what is this in English? It's wühlen in Germany, digging. When your picks dig those cards in the middle of the table, this is actually the interactive ability of the herbivores. So every animal type has their kind of interactive ability, and digging used to dig those good cards from your other players from the center row is their interactive or aggressive ability, and it's not in any kind of way less abstract than those snake or monkey abilities, but people never complained about that being abstract. I don't know.
No, for sure. I just wanted to get your opinion, because for me, I love those rules, and I love it especially because it isn't personal, like you said. I love that it's everybody ahead of you on the track. they get that negative effect. And yeah, that makes sense because they're ahead of you, so it naturally targets the people who are doing currently or maybe doing better than you, depending upon your other track. For me, what I really enjoy about Ark Nova is the idea of those two things crossing. I had never seen that before, but I think it's in one other game that I know of, Rajas of the Ganges. Have you played that? Did you get any inspiration for that idea of crossing tracks from any other game, or
Yeah.
what prompted that?
You are right. It's in Rajas of the Ganges. I don't know how you pronounce this in English.
I don't know how you pronounce it.
Rajas of the Ganges in
yeah.
German. It's from Inka and Markus Brandt, also from Germany. And yes, I have played that, and it works there also. And yeah, I took some inspiration from that, I think. And yeah, but in a way, you could have done the two Leisten in a different way, but it's just I think it's visually appealing, yeah, to have this element, and it actually makes scoring in the end a lot easier also. So you don't have to put some variables. It's just a small number you have to count in the end, and yeah.
A very small number if you're me, because I'm always in the negatives.
So yeah, the thing with the negative numbers is also a special thing. Actually, in the rules there never had been negative scores. Yeah.
Oh, really?
When we developed the game, there was it was written in a way so everybody who achieves the crossing of their markers counts their points. And
right.
Then they compare scores, and every other one
they don't.
They are thank you for playing.
Right. Yeah.
So and you don't have to score your negative points. This
right.
Actually had never been in my ruling, but we added that for solo gaming because in the solo competition it's nice to really do like 3 games or how many you can with one pile, with the whole pile. So you play 3 games in a row, and then you have an overarching score. Yeah, it's also in the rule book, and then you have an overarching score, and therefore it's important to score your negative points, and so you can fix them out. And so I think from that point it went to the basic rules. So we didn't have to explain it differently in the solo rules, and we didn't think that so many people it's just a psychological effect actually, but I personally underestimated the psychological effect that it seems to have on many people.
Oh, really?
When they score negative points. For me, it always had been I have like 3 points more than you, and so it doesn't matter if you score 20 points or 2 points. In the end, you have to win. You need more points than the other players, and so I underestimated that a little, and at some point, so everybody who doesn't like that, you can just it sounds silly, but it actually is the same. You can just add 100 points to your score, and then compare your scores if you feel better about it.
Right.
It's just a psychological effect, and basically you start with a minus 113 points in the game, and from then you go to 0, but you can just add those 100 points. It's the same. It doesn't change anything. Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's fascinating. That's cool how it turns out. For me, I've never really thought anything about it. I think of it in terms of a bar similar to a solo game. If I'm recording my plays or whatever, I think of, okay, I did this well last time, or I did this well at this time, and I use it just kind of as a bar to see how I played and how close I was to beating the other person, right? Instead of feeling sad that I'm in the negative points, because you do work so hard in this game, right? It's you earn every step of the way up the appeal track and the conservation tracks. So I'd love to know, especially this being one of your first designs out there. I have a couple of questions in that, and one in terms of how I- is there any sort of pressure now that you've come out with such a hit that people love? Is there pressure to produce more content? Do you feel that pressure at all of either trying to produce more expansions for it or to think about the next design, or are you just happy that you've it's gone over so well and it's gone over how you wanted it to go over? Because I'm sure you designed this game thinking, hey, this is cool. I want people to enjoy this. And countless of people have been enjoying it over the past couple of years.
Uh, yeah, it depends from which angle you look at it, but yeah. Um, I don't know. I don't. Yeah. Of course, if you can see it as a pressure, no, but no, but I don't want to actually. It's
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm
it's
not. I'm not trying to make you
why
feel pressure.
why would so I don't have to repeat this success. It is so amazing, and I
Right.
cannot go out there and say, oh, this is I just do another game and then it will be as successful obviously again. So this is not how it works. So
Right.
I'm realistic enough to see that I'm not yeah, I'm not in my 20s anymore. I have some experience and I enjoy it. I enjoy it now, how it went, and I am still baffled how many people actually enjoy it, because again it was designed. I designed it for myself, very
Right.
selfish actually, and for my likes and my gaming group's likes, and then I went to Feuerland, and then we together streamlined it to make it even more accessible to a larger audience. And yeah, I think the biggest surprise for me myself was that so many yeah more casual gamers also enjoyed it. Yeah, because it is a complex game, as I said, and I
For
think
sure.
many people enjoy it because of the theme, and they have another access, easier access to it than to other complex games. And this is so cool, and yeah, I enjoy that a lot. And yeah, I don't need to repeat this process or this success again. And I want to publish more games. Yes, that's for sure. But I don't want to pressure myself to be as successful with this again. And it's just we will see how it works, and if it works, it's cool, and if not, I will switch to something different again. I don't know.
I
So,
think,
yeah.
I mean, hey, I think that's a very healthy attitude to have and important to have in maintaining your passion and maintaining your joy even for this hobby and this sort of career. Would you consider board game design to be a potential career path, or do you have another job that you work at as well? Would you?
So yeah, right. Also, I've been in the insurance company for like 15 years, working
Cool.
for actually the biggest insurance company in Germany, and also one of the biggest players in the world. And I did that with great joy. I started there from university and worked my way up. It was a nice time. But from January, I'm not there anymore. So right now I'm a, what would you say in English, a freelancer? Or no, so I'm not employed right now.
Right.
I have 2 years time to create more games, and this is another approach than the last time. But I still have some cool ideas, I think, and yeah, we will see. And like I said, if it works, it's cool, and if not, then yeah, then I do something else or go back.
Right.
Yeah, so
That's really
that's not,
exciting.
but it's yeah, yeah.
So January, it's been just a couple months now since you've been able to devote more time or full time, so to
Yeah.
speak, on designing. That's awesome. How are you enjoying it? Have you noticed a shift, or is it difficult to to motivate yourself sometimes, or what's that process been like?
Um, it's yeah. So since I've been in home office the last 3 years, most of the time it's not that
Right.
big of a difference.
That's
Um,
true. Yeah.
I also have two little kids and a working mom. So the last 2 months more felt like being a houseman than working. But yeah, it's cool. It's another view to the world and
Hmm.
to what you do, and so you can just pull out some of the things you um, angered around or disturbed you in the last years, and now focus on
Right.
more positive things. And it does not feel like a job right now, and
Great.
so I think it has to do with the pressure, obviously.
Hmm.
But yeah, we will see if it how it works out.
Cool. What sort of, can you give us a taste of things that are circling around your brain in terms of next game design? Or it's
Uh,
okay if you don't, it's okay if you don't want to. You can keep those precious gems locked behind closed doors.
so what we have done, yeah, I don't want to tell you too much about
For
new
sure.
ideas. I'm working on them, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But what we have done this year, or actually the last year, but now full force, is finalizing the expansion of Ark Nova,
Right.
with the working title Aquarius. I think it will be called Wasserwelten, Water Worlds. I don't know the English title yet. We are
Cool.
still in finding, but the working title and the BGG entry is Aquarius, and we finalized that. We are now in the last design, or not me, the publisher actually is in the
Okay, cool.
last design finalization, and so we can publish it in Essen this year.
Oh, great.
So yeah.
I feel like that's going to be incredibly highly anticipated. Uh, do you like expansions for your games? Do you feel like you like to grab a lot of expansions for your games, or do you prefer the
Yeah.
base game? I mean,
No,
of course,
I'm a
the answer
victim
is
there. I think I'm a victim to the
to the
to the
expansions.
public. As a gamer, I'm a victim buying all those expansions and
Right.
not using them that often. But for myself, when playing Ark Nova, I wanted an expansion you can easily add,
Hmm.
and you which does not change the game too much. So and
Cool.
uh, when playing, also it will be, it's designed in a way that you can just add those stuffs, and it should not get much more complex doing
Cool.
so. That was the design goal. And but you could, if you want, also just use a couple of those items, which will you find in the box when you open it.
Okay, cool. So there's a few different modules that you can add in
Yeah,
depending upon your
yeah.
preference.
I don't like to call it modular because it's designed to just add all, but
Fair.
you could, if you just want to. Yeah, we published the information about the fourth university, and
Right.
if you just want to play with this, you can do it, and you don't have to add any water animals if you
Right. Don't want
whatsoever
to.
don't want to add those animals to your deck.
Right. But it's designed in mind that everything can be
Yeah.
incorporated and not increase the complexity too much, because it's just more animals in
Mhm.
terms of the water aspect of it. I assume. I'm sure there's more. I'm excited to check it out when it
It's not only
happens.
animals, of course, but
Yeah.
that's the main part
Right.
from the cards, which gets added to the deck. And yeah, they also have their own kind of ability, which is called. Oh, no, I don't know how it's called in English. We haven't translated it yet.
Right. Yeah.
But it's the wave symbol, and
Cool.
so when a water animal will show up in the row, yeah, in the center row,
Yeah.
then it swaps the oldest card away. So you have a flow in the
Cool.
display, so you don't see less cards because you added those to the deck.
That's so smart.
So
That's so smart because I mean the original base Ark Nova has a ton of animals already. The fact that exists just to keep that card flow going, oh, that makes me so excited.
So actually, yeah. So you can, that's it, and it's nice. It gives another small factor of uncertainty. Oh, I don't know if this after the break they
Right.
got 2 cards revealed, and the chances are not so high. There will be a water animal, but if there is one and it swaps away the other card, maybe I should grab it
Right.
now.
Yeah.
I will really want it, and this is especially in solo. It's also really appreciated. Yeah.
Right. Cool. That's really exciting. That's really exciting. I find myself drawn towards expansions as well. You know, you just like to get more of the things that you love. Who can
Yeah.
blame you, right?
Yeah.
What sort of other than yourself? You mentioned Agricola. What are your other sort of favorite games or favorite designers or people who you've taken inspiration from? All of them. What are your top games that you like to play? You and your group.
Yeah. So we naturally play a lot of new games.
Hmm.
Most of the time we try out a new Euro, and yeah, that was also, yeah, the time when you say, oh, I have seen this and this and they could do this better, and so that was also a starting point
Right.
at some time in the past where I said, oh, I think they could have this differently or that, and then you start to get your own. But that was
Right.
not your question. What
No,
are
no,
my
no. That's
favorite games?
still.
Most of them include cards, because I love cards. I love
Hmm.
the variance it gives, the excitement and variability in when you play it more than once, because you have another starting hand, and this is
Right.
why I so much liked Agricola, because you have the different small, or it's in English, yeah,
Small improvements.
the
Yeah.
yeah, small improvements, and
Hmm.
your jobs you can educate yourself in. I don't know how it's
Yeah.
called in English.
Yeah. Occupations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other games I really enjoy are Imperial Twilight. Gleichgewicht des Schreckens, it's in German.
Oh yes, of course. I know that one very well.
No, you're right. The Twilight Struggle.
Mm,
It's a great design. I really enjoy it. But it's a two-player game, and most of
yeah.
the time I play with 3 or 4 people. So yeah, I like the designs of Alexander Pfister.
Hmm.
Uh, I think Maracaibo is such a great game.
Yeah.
For example, yeah, I like Terra Mystica, also from Feuerland.
Hmm.
I played a lot during the first 2 years of release. Yeah, for example.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, we had Helga on the show as well to talk about
Yeah,
the Gaia project in Terra Mystica and his upcoming Terra Mystica Age of Innovation, which I think is just it's going to blow my mind open with possibilities. I think.
I
Um,
haven't
uh,
I haven't played that actually. Yeah, well, but I'm curious also.
yeah. Are now that you've gotten more and more into the space, do you have any publisher friends or designer friends, or do you have any designers that you like to run ideas off of, or are you still mainly focused on your core group that helped you create and test Ark Nova?
Of course, yeah. You try to connect with other people, with other designers or players in general.
Hmm.
So especially if you have more time now. So for example, I've been on a vacation work week with Uwe Rosenberg and some friends, for example,
Cool,
to
amazing.
to get some inspiration or whatsoever. And this is nice, and I wouldn't have thought about such things a couple of years ago. And yeah, this is so cool. Yeah, but designing games right now is still, yeah. I have to find my way, yeah, to do it in
Right.
the future. It's just the starting point right now, because yeah, it's a different angle and time now. Yeah, it's
Totally. Yeah. Well, this was awesome, Matthias. Thank you so much for chatting and talking about the design process. And hopefully, we'll get to see each other in Vegas because we're trying to get you down to Vegas and to potentially play some games of Ark Nova with some people, sign some copies at the World Series of Board Gaming, and also you might be participating in the Ark Nova tournament itself.
yeah, if I'm allowed to, I would love to. And
Yeah.
I think if you want to earn your ring in Ark Nova, it should be especially great if you can beat the designer in the game.
Yeah.
And that's yeah, I'm looking forward to meet the guys and. Who really enjoy playing Ark Nova competitively, and
Yes.
I'm very curious what I will take away from it. So
Yeah, well, I
I'm
think
excited.
we looked it up. They just got back to me. We looked it up, and legally you're in. So we should be able to
Yeah.
have you in the tournament. So all you Ark Nova players out there, get ready, get your skills on because
Earn your ring.
earn your ring. That's what's gonna happen. Matthias, thank you again so much. This was great. And everyone else, stay tuned because I'm going to tell you how you can win yourself a copy of Ark Nova. Maybe you've never played it. Well, you can win yourself a copy. You're just going to have to comment on the YouTube channel below, but we'll talk about it in a second. Thank you again, Matthias, for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you again to Matthias for jumping on board the show, and welcome to the portion of the show that you've stuck around for. How can you win a copy of Ark Nova, and when will you find out? Well, just make sure to subscribe, drop a comment below about why you'd want to play Ark Nova, why you enjoy Ark Nova, what your favorite card is in Ark Nova, some of those variable card powers that Matthias and I were talking about, any of that good stuff. In order to win, you have to be subscribed and drop a comment below. And the winner will be announced in the April newsletter for the World Series of Board Gaming. It's the April news update that happens around the 15th of every month. This one will happen in April to give everybody a time to enter. And if you tag a friend and your name is drawn, well, then that friend is going to be entered into an additional draw for them to win a pass into the World Series. So tag your friends, tell your friends about this episode, tell them to watch, and you could potentially win a copy of Ark Nova, or they could win a copy of Ark Nova. You could play it with them, and then you could be coming to the World Series of Board Gaming as well, happening in Vegas, September 24th to the 28th. I'm going to be there. Matthias is going to be there. And it's going to be a fun time. Thanks so much for sticking around. Again, make sure to tune into that April 15th update if you want to find out if you've won or not. And this will always be announced via video because that's the deal about running giveaways on YouTube. There are many scams in the comments, so don't listen to those. Just listen to me, and I look forward to seeing you then. Take care, everybody.